Welcome back to the 11 a.m. turn. It's interesting this turn. I just want to cover a couple quick things because this might be a pretty quick turn depending on if Reynolds makes his command roll or not, which he hasn't for 3 turns. So no Confederate reinforcements till noon, and it's 11. And then it's pretty insignificant. It's A.P. Hill, who's basically a non-factor, and some artillery. And then we got Recon and Force will end at 12:15. So we got 5 turns for them to continue to try to take this ridge over here and capture these objectives. The Union is similar. They don't have anything coming in at 11 either. They do have some stuff at 11:15 and then again at noon. So it's going to be interesting. Let me zoom out a little bit here. It's going to be interesting. Like all of this Confederate stuff back here is for show. There's nothing significant about it. I did some moving before I started recording to try to save some time on some of the videos. So basically, Scales moved up here. They have to stay behind this road. And Lane moved his brigade this way to get, then they have to stay behind this road because there's Union coming up this way. That's the extent of it. I thought maybe Lane could stretch out in this area here and cover this flank. He's within the realm of his orders. We'll bring Thomas in just to get behind Scales here because there's no reason to stretch way out north because that'll be out of play. Or, it'll take them forever to get back. And the artillery just has to sit here. We'll get Pender up closer so he's with his full division. And we got Heath down here with his division. So they're within command range of Heath. Brockenbrough and Pettigrew aren't going to move, which is a bummer. They can't use them. So anyway, I did move these already. I just thought maybe to save some time on general moving. I don't know if I like that. I think in the future I'll do all the moves online just so we have a whole record of it. But let's go ahead and move Thomas. So the chart, this Marsh is 2 for those guys. Just want to make sure I play about anywhere from 3 to 5 games at a time. I kind of jump around because sometimes I'm in the mood for World War II, sometimes the Civil War, sometimes whatever, right? So it's hard to remember everybody's move rules. All right, so let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oops, 6. I don't know why I'm moving 8. I was thinking of these guys. These guys are open order. They can move 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They'll stay on that ridge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to leave him back there. I'm sorry, it's just an OCD thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep the whole thing in line. Let's see. So that's Pender. Let's zoom out just a little bit. If we put him right about there, which he's got plenty of movement for. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's got to be within 8. So he's within 8 of Scales, Thomas, Lane, and Perrin. So he's good. That's it. Yeah, I think in the future, instead of moving guys before I start recording to try to save time, I'm going to do everything so you can see all the moves. I like that better. All right, so these guys can't really move because they're furthest out that they can be here. I put them like that just in case there was a collapse and these guys had to run back and the North decided to pursue or something, that they could protect them. I don't know if the Union commander would do that or not. That's not my choice. That's theirs. Now, let's zoom in here a little bit for these guys. So this is getting ugly because Archer has 1 unit here, the 1st Tennessee, that has any kind of sticking power. These guys are 1 away from being wrecked. They're 1 away from being wrecked. They're 1 away from being wrecked. They're wrecked. These guys got disorganized and wrecked in the last file. They do have a pretty good strength here of this unit, but I don't know if they have an hour and 15 minutes of fight in them. We'll see. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to do a little bit here with Archer. I want to look real quick and see Does it have anything on wrecked? Morale status type, blah, blah, blah. No. I thought they had a little, oh, right here. Current state, that's morale. Okay, well, I know there's restrictions on wrecked. Let's look that up real quick. I like having a digital version up. If it takes me too long, then I won't. Just want to check real quick. Those are all design notes. So you can't close, I know that. I'm just wondering if they can... Can they move closer? Oh, rec status 5.7. There we go. There we are. Let's see. What are the restrictions on wrecked? Infantry or cavalry units are wrecked. We got that. Artillery units never become wrecked. Regiments can recover losses later. We got that. Cannot successfully pass a closing roll if it's the... Even if it is not the top unit on the staff. Exception, units that become wrecked during a charge can continue to move their stack until it stops. Applies a morale table modifier to the unit stack if it is the top unit. So, okay, so we just can't closing roll. And the only reason I was wondering is because do I want to move these guys up at all to fill a gap? Just because we're going to get overrun if we don't do something. So, these guys will rally from shaken next turn. I think what I'm going to do is just put these guys out here like that. They're just going to stop right there. They have no line of sight to any of this stuff. They can't shoot to here. They have no line of sight to here. There's a ridge here. Remember, the dotted line's a ridge. We're staying down because we know there's artillery on the ridge just past us. But we do want to have some semblance in case these guys have orders. We don't know what their orders are. I do, but this guy is going to just move up to here because he's wrecked. The red 2 is bad. Now, the bulk of what I have to decide, like he can fire at him and they won't get to fire back, so that's good. Same with him. He's got 2. We can fire. We can see what happens and try to do some damage before we're gone. I'm trying to decide what I want to do with this guy. So you can't, well, I haven't done much with woods yet, but I might pause and look that up. Woods hex sides are for movement. The actual woods, okay, so the wood symbol is, okay, that's what I couldn't remember. The hex side is for movement. This would be for actual firing. So if I was going to fire from anywhere in the hex, I have to see if I have line of sight. But the woods go all the way to this corner. So essentially, no matter where I go, I'm going to be looking through woods, right? So they can't really fire there. I don't know if I want to move them, turn them around and move them up here and build like a little defensive line. Because that would put them one level higher. Oh, what's woods? Woods is like +3 or something like that. Yeah, it's +3. So they could do that because then this woods will protect them from the artillery over here because that's considered 3 levels higher than this, and that's only 1 more level up. So let's do that. So they would turn and face this way for 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's 5. Yeah, 5 and 6. So they can basically just do that. And they would basically turn to face back. So they turn, move over the woods. So that's 1 to turn, 2 to total for the wood line, 3, 4 for the slope. Did I do that right? Yeah. But either way, 5 or 6 movement, they're good. Because they're not going to fire this way because the trees are in the way. I could probably... Well, So this is where the line of sight's kind of weird. You have to do it from the highest point. I guess they could fire at them, but the problem is they could fire at them, and if they get a hit, they're going to rout. So we're going to leave them there as a glass tiger. I want to start with this guy up here, the 1st Tennessee. We're going to try to blast the 95th New York, and then if that goes good, bad, or otherwise, then this guy can decide what to do. He's not real strong, but he does have a bonus with the buck and ball. So let's do these guys. We got the 1st Tennessee firing at the 95th New York. There's nothing with terrain, so let's go look at that. So we start out on the 4 to 5 column. There's no column shifts they got rifle muskets, so there's nothing special. They're on the 4 to 5 column, and there's no modifiers for the enemy. So it's going to basically just be the 4 to 5 column straight up. All right. So we need a 6 or better to cause a problem. And weird thing is, I always feel a little bit trying to think of the word. It's just weird because I want my attacks to do well, but yet the Union just rallied to defend. So it's like I'm always back and forth on who I'm pulling for. So it's kind of weird. All right, so here we are. What do we need? We need a 6 or better. We got an 8, which I think is still just a morale. Nope, that's a loss. Okay, so let's take the loss first. That happens right away. So he's a 4. He's a B morale. There shouldn't be any modifiers because there's no leader, no shaken, disorganized, no wreck, no rear, small, cowardly legs, knights, artillery, cavalry, all that. So it's a straight up roll on the B column. A 9 or higher is bad. A 2 or 3 would bloodlust them. An 11. Wow, we did get a break so it's a DG, back 3, lose 1. So they're disorganized, back 3, lose 1. So it's follow the disorganized first, so lower morale. Then they have to go back 3, and they have to go into a rear hex, so we're going to have to go 1, 2, 3, and then they lose another guy. So that was effective. And then we have to put a cowardly legs here, which will be a big deal, because now if we fire at these guys, that's a modifier if they have to make a morale check. So we are getting a little bit, I'm not expecting this to do much other than buy me 15 to 30 minutes, maybe if I'm lucky. So now let's do Archer. So he's going to fire. There's 100 men left here, the 14th Tennessee, that it can fire, that are combat effective at 1 hex range. There's no terrain issues, so let's go look at that. Now, they have muskets. So they're going to be at the strength 2 to 3. They have buck and ball, which is good at distance of 1. So there's no modifier for distance, but they do get buck and ball, so that pushes us to the 4 to 5. So that's pretty good. There's no other modifiers. We're not firing at the rear. There's no disorganized, any of that. So the 4 to 5 column, so we got a chance. We got a better than 50% chance to do some damage. And we rolled a 2. So we had good results there. We had nothing there. So that didn't do anything. I should get in the habit of doing this. Mark them fired. And mark them fired. So it was a mixed result with the cowardly legs here. Archer will be done. Because you can't fire and then move. So now let's go. Oh, I didn't roll Davis yet. Let's roll Davis. See what he can do. He rolled a 1, which means he sits right there like a clown. The Union couldn't have asked for any better roll there. I'm going to stop and look up a rule quick, I think, because I'm assuming you can still fire. I wonder, can you make a facing change? Because this guy really needs to make a facing change, or it's going to get really ugly on the Union turn, and same with these guys. So let me pause, and I will look that up. Okay, welcome back. So I did a little reading, and I didn't want to waste your time on that, but he rolled a 1, so they have absolutely no movement, and it costs 1 movement point to make a facing change. So they can fire, but they can't move or change facing. So, wow. So we're going to have to hope for some really really good stuff, because otherwise we're going to have problems. Okay, so let's see. He'll be able to fire here if I want. This guy will probably fire here because he can get a flank. He can get a rear flank shot. And I don't know if he can even see this unit here because of the railroad cut. We could figure that out, but I'd rather try taking that side shot. He has... can he fire through there? Let's take a look at that. Where is he? We'll do the line of sight check. Okay, so we can do it from anywhere on here. Well, I guess he could fire. He could fire this way. It's going to be... Oh, I'm sorry, this guy, I mean... Oh, wait. Was I doing the wrong guy? I guess if we did it... Yeah, we did it from right here. You can shoot right through there. And... Oh, wait, he's considered to actually be up here. Orchards don't block, though. So he can fire on his rear. I still think that's a frontal shot because I think this whole arch is front. It doesn't... So, like, when you do line of sight... You can't like pick way back here and then this corner to say I'm shooting at his flank. So this is still considered his frontal arc. So he can fire at him, but it's going to be super long. But we got to do something. Can this guy fire? So he has to pick a spot. Yeah, he could see these guys. So, oh, not that guy. The wrong guy. This guy right here. Yeah, so he could fire. It's going to be a long-range shot. This guy can't fire, and he can't. He could fire this way, I guess. We're going to fire everything we can. It's 4 hex range, I think, for rifle. Or, no, those are muskets. They can't. So he can fire 2. I forget. Confederates have muskets. Rifled. Okay. So this musket can fire there. Would have been so nice to make a facing change and blast away at the 56th Pennsylvania, who's already taken some damage. But Davis decided to not move his brigade or started halting people. And wow, that's all I can say. All right, so movement and combat. Let's do this one at a time. Basically, they can't move, so we're just going to fire. So I think the first one we're going to do is this unit right here. So I guess the good news is there'll be no opening volleys back at me. I think so. We have 4 strength points with muskets. Muskets have a range of 2, so he's not going to have buck and ball because he'd have to be right here. So we're going to start out with a strength of 4, so we're right here. And we're going to go 1 left for the range, and there's no other modifiers. I want to do this because I want to be able to see that without having to scroll. Okay. So we were at the 4 to 5. We shift once for range, so we're in the 2 to 3. So we need a 7 or better with the 2nd Mississippi B firing at the 76th New York. And we rolled a 6, which is going to do nothing. So fired. Okay, next one. Let's fire this guy here, the 42nd Mississippi A, and we're going to fire at the 147th New York into their flank because their frontal arc is right here, so it's certainly a flank shot. We are going to have some modifiers for being 3 hexes away, but let's see what we can do. So we start out as a 5. We're 3 hexes away, so it goes to the 1. There's no special stuff for the firepower for rifle, but we are firing on the rear. Now there is a, let's see, range 10 or more. Okay, so if it was 10 or more, if it was artillery at 10 or more, it doesn't do anything. So that gives us 2 shifts to the right for firing on the rear. He's not disorganized, no protective terrain, he's not open order quality. So that's the 4 to 5 column, so we need a 6 or better. We get a 5. Okay, so what I'm thinking here is I shouldn't be playing the Confederates tonight if I wanted them to do well, because they are doing horrible. All right, let's do this guy here. We got Davis, not going to do anything. We're at a range of 5. This has Orchard, which isn't going to do anything. So we're strength of 5. We're 4 hexes away, so that's 3 shifts. 1, 2, 3. So we're at the negative A column. And there's no other things to help us or make it worse. So we need a 10, 11, or a 12. We get a 3. All right, so I can see how this is going. We got one more guy that can fire. We're going to fire the 55th North Carolina A at the unit with John Burns. It's a strength 7, so it starts in the 6 to 8 column. And it's going to shift 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to shift 3, 1, 2, 3 because of the range. So we need an 8 or better. And we did absolutely nothing. Well, I guess that's not true. We did this guy here and get rid of this cowardly legs. But Davis did absolutely nothing. I guess we still got this guy here, technically. But this is going to be this could end. So if it goes off the left side of the table, you don't get to do anything. What is the deal with disorganized? Is it half strength? Because then we probably can't even take it. Activity effects, morale state effects, disorganized. Fire is times half. So he'd have 1 strength point. So we'd start here, and then with 4 shifts, we fall off. So we can't shoot at them. Okay. And that makes sense because they're disorganized. There are 100 men back there. It's not looking good. That's it. Everyone's still in command range with Heath for next turn, but that was a pretty pitiful turn for the Confederates. So let's go through the list and make sure. Rally phase, so we can take off all the move markers. We can remove, I already did the cowardly legs. We can remove fired, and we can CSA rally. I love that where you can rally everybody at once. I really dig that. Whoever made this module, thank you very much. So these guys all over here are no longer shaken. They are still wrecked, and he is now shaken. So next turn he could fire and maybe do something. We'll see, maybe not. We did that. There's no loss recovery, so that's it. So we go on. So I got to make a command roll for Reynolds. Reynolds is a 4. For him to be able to do a command, he has to roll a 6 or better. So he just needs a 6 or better. He got a 7. Okay, so that's going to end the video for tonight because I need to send this file to my Union commander so he can see the end positions and decide if he wants to issue any orders. Now, these guys are all under orders right now. And this is where this game is so fascinating, in case you haven't been watching from the beginning, is like in a lot of games now I could just start pushing in here with these guys, right? Now, they might be able to do that. It depends on the order that I'm following. And I'm following a set of orders of where they were supposed to deploy and defend and a position they were supposed to occupy. So I can't just, swing around over here or swing around over here as I see fit. I have to follow the orders. So if you're watching, wondering why maybe I make some moves that are like, why are you moving like that? In case I didn't explain it as the turns go on, it's because I have certain orders and I got to follow those orders. I don't get to just decide what to do. I can make some initiative rolls if I want, but those are pretty restricted. They don't let you change the objective to a different attack. It just basically keeps you from doing something stupid like marching in column into the enemy who's up on a hill, right? You wouldn't do that. So, that kind of stuff. So I'll send this file and we'll see what happens. And we'll see what happens with the North. We'll see if Reynolds wants to issue any orders. If not, then I'll have to roll for the fluke stoppage and all that stuff again. And we'll see what happens. So thanks for joining me, and we'll talk at you later. Okay, welcome back, everybody. Let me do this real quick. It's been a while. I think the last video file I worked on was 9/28. Then I had a weekend. I spent some time with my wife out at some of the national parks doing some leaf looking for the fall. And then the weekend after that, got hit by the COVID bug. And that was 15 days of a fever and even more days recuperating. But no hospitalization, so praise God for that. And I know other people have had other problems, so I am fortunate and feel good about that. But I just wanted to let anybody know who's been watching why it's been forever. We're not going to dwell on that a lot. I did get my orders way back at the end of September and was ready to do the next file, and then, everything derailed. So we got our Union leader orders, and so starting right here with this part of the file, I'm going to put them all together, right? It won't be a separate video. But basically the time between the Confederate and the Union turn was about 6 weeks. So anyway, it would look seamless on the video, but it wasn't seamless. So lots going on. Thanks everybody for your prayers and support, and those of you that have been asking about me, I appreciate it. Everything's good. Now, one thing I did learn, and I did read the rules again because the brain fog thing from COVID is a real deal, and that's why it's taken me a while. Because honestly, even after the recovery stuff, it was hard to focus and concentrate. And these games we play, at least for me, they're not very simple. So I read the rules the last couple of days before doing this to kind of make sure I wasn't missing anything. Plus, somebody did mention on one of the comments, I appreciate it. I did mess up, and we're just going to keep moving forward, right? So this is my first time playing. We're not going to do start overs. We're just going to keep moving forward. That's the way some of these games are, right? I mean, we all play them. We find a rule that maybe we interpreted wrong or whatever. For some reason, I thought the only leaders that you had to worry about were these boners here with the 00, right? I think it was, okay, either it's because it says zeros under that rule, or I saw a graphic somewhere in the example they had was a 00 leader. I was supposed to be doing that with Archer. I didn't realize it was the command value of 0. So I apologize up front for that. For those of you watching this, if I taught you that erroneously, my apology. It didn't really matter since Archer's played pretty abysmal. If Archer would have slammed into the Schultz Woods and taken this road here for the benefits of that road, I would see that as probably okay, well, that kind of skewed it, but he really didn't do anything. And in fairness, I did the at the double even deploying, so maybe they evened out. So anyway, that's two things, and I think I brought that up in a different video. Somebody had mentioned when you're doing at the double, you can't do at the double and then deploy into line, which I did that with the Iron Brigade. So, maybe they offset each other, whatever. Like I said, I'm not going to, I want to play this as accurate as I can. So as I find mistakes, or if you're watching and you see me doing something wrong, by all means, point it out. I want to play it properly. This isn't really a tutorial as much as just a playthrough, right? And the reason I don't market it or, put down tutorial or learn to play like the guy Nick that does these, I just don't have the experience and don't want to put that pressure on me that I got to get everything 100% right because I'm teaching somebody, right? If I'm teaching a game, I want to have it down. So anyway, with that, let's go ahead and get going. Let's see how rusty I am after 6 weeks. So remember, since the Confederates have done their turn, it's actually been 6 weeks, not a few minutes. But you'll probably see in the video that it's a few minutes, right? So, or a few seconds. So here we did the command orders phase. Now we have to do attack recovery, which we don't have to worry about, but we do have to do fluke stoppage, okay? So the Iron Brigade and Cutler's Brigade are both, this is done at the division level. So Doubleday has to make a fluke stoppage because he's the first corps guy. And I might have done that wrong. I was using Wadsworth, I think, earlier, but we wouldn't be using Wadsworth because now the corps commander's on the field and everything goes through the corps. So we will we would test for Wadsworth division. So let's read the stuff here. It's going to be a little rusty. I got my book here. If I got to spend a lot of time, I'll edit it out later. There's the series rules. So if I got to spend a lot of time, I'll just edit it out later. But it's going to be a little rusty because, like I said, it's been 6 weeks, not a few seconds since the Confederate move. So let's look at fluke stoppage. So we're over the 8 turns, so we're good there. Dice roll modifiers, -1, original division leader wounded or killed, no. +2 if there's reserves. We don't have any reserves. -2 for night turn. Base check is 2 dice. Pass on a modified 6+, otherwise roll 2 dice below. Actually, we would be using Wadsworth because it's his division that has to check. We're not rolling for the whole corps. We're rolling for Wadsworth division. Now, Dean did tell me on one of the groups if there's a fluke stoppage for Wadsworth, not only would these guys all be in stoppage, but so are the guys marching. So that's brutal. Which I asked that because if you're in a move mode, you don't have a fluke stoppage. So I'll double check that, but I think he said they do, which seems really brutal. But anyway, it's a base dice of 2. You need a 6+. Okay, if the roll is less than the range above, stoppage occurs. Okay, so basically you have to kind of blow it twice. We got a +2 for Wadsworth Division, so I'd have to roll a 3 or less, and then have to roll a 7 or less. So let's see what happens. Okay, we got a 10, so no fluke stoppage. Good, because that would really be sucky right now with so little on the table. But it is a deal. I'm assuming the special rule, I know there's no fluke stoppages for Heath, so maybe during the Recon and Force there shouldn't be fluke stoppages for these guys. I don't know. But I'll double check that. That just crossed my mind because when I was reading everything again, it talks about the Recon and Force part that we're doing here with Davis and Archer. It says there's no fluke stoppages. But my assumption was that was for the Confederates. Maybe it's for both sides. During this part, there's no fluke stoppage. I'll ask that on the forums later. Doesn't matter because we didn't get one. So now we go to the activity and the movement phase. And I read all of it, so hopefully I don't have to look up a bunch of stuff. And hopefully we're going to do this right. So let's go ahead and do the combat part of it first. So I'm going to zoom in as per request for some of you guys who've said try to zoom in a little bit more. Now remember, this is an orders-based game. So even though I could probably start going in here and smacking guys and getting behind guys and stuff, I do have orders to follow. And if those orders start taking me away from my objective, I can't just start running around willy-nilly, right? So, and I don't know if you can see it, but because I had the 15 days of a fever, I wasn't shaving, so I got kind of this squirrely thing on my face. I'm going to maybe do that through November, maybe December, and then I think I'm going to get rid of it. I haven't grown out a beard, if you want to call this a beard, since I was probably 24, and so that's 27 years old. So we'll just see how it goes. Anyway, so let's go ahead and do our orders. So Iron Brigade has some orders they have to follow. Oh, and I did did all the order stuff, but they'll continue with their original orders because the orders have to go from Reynolds to Doubleday, and then Doubleday will issue them to Wadsworth, and he will issue them out to the brigades because there's other brigades coming up the road. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. So I'm going to look stuff up just so I don't take... so the other thing is, and this is where you got to be real careful for me, is while I was trying to get over brain fog, I've been playing BCS. I was watching Tabletop's Edge, I think, while I wasn't feeling well, and totally sucked me into BCS. So I started playing it, and now I own all 4 of the games that are out for it. They're all on my shelf. But the problem is, for me, I start to mix games like, terrain effects, zone of control effects, stuff like that. So I'll try to watch that too, obviously. Okay, so what I wanted to do is they're in line. And so I just want to take a quick look at what's going to affect that. So it's pretty much they got 6 movement points in line. And this all is pretty much going to be 1. This little, these don't matter. These are runs, so they don't affect movement. Okay, so I just want to check that. So the reason being is these guys need to move down here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, they're moving there. So here we got Iron Brigade. Look at one thing here. 3926 to 32. Okay. So these guys need to start doing some stuff here. Trying to just kind of think in my mind. Why you? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want to do that. Because I'm gonna just swim around this way here, so I end up here instead. Keep them out of artillery fire. So I do have my orders, which I need to follow. We got a battery here. I got to remember that. This is probably going to mess me up with that sitting on there, so I don't want to keep doing that. This is part of Cutler. Now, he's shaking, so we got to be really careful there. He's also one away, I think, from being wrecked. So I think we're going to start with these guys here and we're going to continue our attack on Davis. These guns were kind of holding the flank. So I think the first thing we're going to do, I think I'd really like to change his facing. But if I do that, I believe they get closing fire, or they can react. Same with this unit here. I'd really like to change my facing. They can't move over this red line anyway, so I don't think I'm going to do that for now. We're going to start out with Cutler here in the 56th Pennsylvania. They are not going to move, so they're just going to blast the 2nd Mississippi, who they've gotten in the rear of here. And we're going to see what we can do with that. So let's do that first. So I'm going to mark these guys fired. This module is super excellent, by the way, for whoever did all these add-ons. All right, so let's go look at combat. Okay, so these guys are rifles, and there's nothing special with rifles. They don't get any like short range any benefits like smoothbore or anything, but they got a range of 4. So the range at range 1 is regular, so there's no shifts there, and we are at 4, so we're starting right here on the 4 to 5 column. There's no artillery stuff, no firepower stuff. The other target, 2 to the right for rear fire. And it's got two little asterisks there. And I'm looking on here where the asterisk is for. Oh, that's range 10 or more. Okay, so if you're firing with artillery at more than 10 or more range, then you wouldn't get this. So 2 to the right is going to be huge. That's going to push us to the A column, so we should be able to do some serious damage. So we're in the A column, and we roll 2d6. Another 10. That's going to be 2, and that's going to be a morale check. So we lose them first. So where's the decrease? Decrease. So it's going to wreck them. So that's not good at all. Now we go over to the morale table because it's going to be a morale check. They're a B. All right, and let's go look at the values. Shaken or disordered? No. Wrecked? Yes. +3 for being wrecked. +2 for rear. So that's 5. They're now small, so that's 6. No cowardly legs because it's our first attack. +1 or -1 if any of them are behind slope. Nope. So that's going to be a +6. That's brutal. So that is also a 2d6 roll. So 7 is 13. 13 is a disorganized, back 4 and lose 2. So here's how this would work. Just so we're going through the rules again for anybody watching that is trying to maybe learn a little bit, even though it's not a tutorial. So it's disorganized, even though we know this will be gone, right? So they go 2 morale drops, so they're disorganized. Back 4, so they'd go 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say they end up like that, right? That puts a cowardly legs here, which I was good at remembering now, but that's one of my Achilles heels in this game is I forget that. And then they would lose 2 more, so they are basically gone. Send that to the graveyard. So that's not good. Let's look at the graveyard, see who's all in there. Oh, we got a battery in there. We got a dude there. Okay. Now that I looked in here, I got to rotate that because that's going to kill my OCD. Well, they can only go at an angle, I guess, so. Okay. Not straight up or down because they're following this pattern here, so. Anyway, that's better. So they're basically eliminated. I don't think where they're eliminated you put a cowardly legs, but even if you did, there's nobody next to them, so that wouldn't matter. So we fired. When you fire, you can't move. Now, Cutler can still move if I wanted to charge or something, but you have to do all your movement before you fire. And remember, this is a ridge line, so this guy here, he can't even see him. Well, I would have taken that shot anyway, but they can't see each other. These guys can because they're sitting on the ridge, and we're going to blast away at this. I don't think we're going to change facing. I think we're just going to shoot because we're going to have a strength of 6. If we can just get 1 loss, they're going to be wrecked. And maybe we get lucky and Archer gets killed, although he's a stinky leader at 0. So let's go look at that. So let's do combat again. Let's look at the 14th Brooklyn here. They're going to fire on the 14th Tennessee. They're not moving, so there's no opening volley. I guess I called it closing fire. That's GBACW. There's no opening volley because they didn't move. We got the same thing. We got no modifiers for range. The only thing we don't get is the shift for the rear shot. So we're going to be in the 6 to 8 column here. So all we need is a 5 for a morale check. A 7 will give us a loss, which is what we want. We get the 7 exactly. Okay, so we need to do a decrease value. So that's going to wreck them. We need to make a leader check before we do the morale check. So the capturing is if they're alone. This would be the charge, which we don't have. So it's going to be the other case. So we need 11 or a 12 for him to have a problem. Otherwise, he's fine. Oh, and he gets killed. So Archer is killed. I think he automatically flips right away. But I'll look that up. I don't know. It's not going to matter. So he's basically a little bit stinkier than Archer, but not much more. And now they're going to basically be... I think he would get to be there because that's going to be a morale value of 1 because there's still a replacement leader there. I'll look that up later, but I think we're good there. Let's go do our morale check. So they are what? They are a B. So these guys got good morale, but they're not shaken or disorganized. They are wrecked, so that's a +3. It's not rear, but there is a small for a 4. I thought the leader helped. Oh, yeah, very top one, minus value, target leader. So we'll take away 1, so we got a +3. So we're on the B column, +3. 4 is a 7. So they are good. They don't run away. So that's pretty crazy. They're wrecked, but they're still holding their ground. So this guy fired. So let's mark him fired. I do still want to move Meredith before I forget. So let's go. Let's put him there. Okay, back to Cutler's brigade. So when you fire, you can't move. I'm trying to decide. So now if this guy moves here and he fires at him, he can't fire at him, but he can do an opening volley. Trying to decide if I'd rather just go up here. Either way, I'm going to get fired at. I don't have to make a closing roll, so I'm trying to think, where do I want to go? So I'm thinking about turning this way and going like this, and then blazing away at this guy. He's the last remnant of Archer's brigade that really is, these guys, he's one away from being wrecked. They're still probably going to push their attack because that's their orders, but this guy is going to, I think I want to push him up into here and just kind of hold this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go 1, 2. He's shaken. He could move one more and then fire and stuff, but he's already a 3. So if he takes one more, he's going to be wrecked. I want him to just kind of bolster the line, right? So he's moved. We got these two left. So we got John Burns over here fighting with the 76th. I think what I'm going to do is I'm not going to turn these guys. I'm going to fire at the 42nd Mississippi, the A detachment, and maybe we get lucky and they have to fall back, and then we can move him up, right, and blaze away at Davis and hit the 42nd Mississippi B Battalion. So let's do that. Let's just stay, because this right here protects us pretty good. The guns are protecting this, so if they come this way, they'll have to deal with the guns. Although I think there's only 2 guns that these guys are. Lieutenant Rogers' battery is out of canister and shot and shell. So that's our whole flank. We do have some artillery coming up here, but they have their orders to follow, so you'll be seeing that here shortly. All right, so let's do this. Let's fire with John Burns. So John Burns is with the 76th New York. He's going to fire at the 42nd Mississippi. It's going to be 6, right? So we start out on the 6 to 8 column. We're 2 hexes away, so that's going to push us to the 4 to 5 column. And if I remember, terrain doesn't really do much for it. If you can see, I don't think there's a lot with terrain in this. 1 left protective terrain. So let's see. That might help them. So let's go look at terrain. And I don't have on here what it does for. Does this have anything? No. Okay, so let's go look at, oops, right here. Would be 1 more left, protective terrain, C note. Oh, protected terrain. Shift once, no matter how many applies. Stone wall, rock ledge, sunken road, trench, boulders, breastwork. No, so it's nothing for woods. It's a line of sight issue, is it? So I'm used to more modifiers, so sometimes I feel like I'm forgetting stuff, but we're not. So, all right, so we start out at 6 to 8. We're on the 4 to 5 column, so we need at least a 6 to cause a morale check. We just get the 6, so we're going to do a morale check with no modifiers. So let's go over here, or, well, we might have modifiers, but we didn't do any damage. So we start these guys on the C column. There's no leader with them. They're not shaken or disorganized. They're not wrecked. They're not rear. They're not small. No cowardly legs. So there's no modifiers. So it's just a C roll. And a 6 is going to be fine. So they're fine. So nothing happened to them. Okay, so now, do I want to move this guy? I think I do. And the reason I want to is I want to get, because if you're firing on the hex spine here, that's going to count as a rear shot. And we got 7 points here. So we are going to do rotate, that's 1, 2 to here, and then we are going to fire on Davis's unit. But because we're firing there and he's within, I can't remember how many hexes it is. I think it's 3, but I know that he's in range. He can do a opening volley on me. So opening volley at range 2 is a 1 through 4 is no loss. 5 or 6 is a loss. Roll 1 die, read right, shift 1 column right if it's from artillery with canister, or 1 left if it's from a wrecked unit. So nope, so it's just going to be straight up. It's a 2. There is no morale checks for that, so even if you'd hit me, I don't have to make a morale check. I just didn't want to take the loss, but I haven't played this for 6 weeks, so it's going to take a while to get back into the flow of tactically what to do. But I think now we'll take our shot here. Oh, I wish I would have went up there, but whatever. Then you got to make a closing roll. I guess I should have looked at doing that and got into the rear of that guy, but whatever. Well, then he'd have been firing. I would have had to have stayed facing this way, which I don't like that. Okay, so the 147th New York is now going to fire at the 42nd Mississippi B. So we're at strength 7. So we're in the 6 to 8. Remember, the most you can ever fire with is 8. If you're open order, it's 3. So we fire in the 6 to 8 column. It's going to be 1 to the left for a range of 2. But we get 2 to the... Oh, yep, they're rifled. We get 2 to the right because it's firing on the rear. So basically anything that crosses this line or this line and all around here is considered rear. I think that's it. So that's going to put us on the 8 columns. Let's see what we can do for damage. A 5. So that's 1. A little bit of a missed opportunity. I've never done 3 yet, but we'll take it. It's going to be a loss of 1 and a morale check, so decrease embedded strength. We do got to roll for Davis, which can't get any worse than Davis. That's probably okay if he dies. They probably prefer that. So at 11 or 12, he's got problems. Nope, he's fine with a 5. All right, so let's do his morale check. He doesn't do anything for morale, so it's going to be a C roll. And here's the modifiers. Davis helps not at all. I don't think he had any other, nope, he had no other condition. +2 for being fired on in the rear. +1 for this cowardly leg. So we get a +3, and what was he, a C? Yeah, +3 on the C column. So 6 to a 9 is shaken, back 2, lose 1. So that's good. So shaken, so we do that first. Back 1, what did I get? 6 to 9. Shaken, back 2, lose 1. So he's going to go 1, 2, and you can adjust, oops. You can stay with the unit, and you can adjust your facing when you retreat to however you want to face. So we'd want to face that way. That's going to put another cowardly legs, and they lose another strength point, which is not going to, it's not going to wreck them, but they're 1 away from being wrecked. Okay, now I think we're done. He fired. He's behind the crest line because he's shaken. We want him to rally. These guys fired. So that's, all we're going to do with Cutler's brigade. So these are, well, we'll leave them on. We'll take them off when we do the rally. But that was pretty good. That wasn't bad. Iron Brigade's already moved. Now we need to do some more moving. So I need to look at my terrain chart. Okay, so I'm going to move Reynolds to here, just because otherwise I'm going to forget about this guy. As much as I like him on a battery. Now these guys here, well, we got to look at the line of sight rules are different in this game. So when you're doing line of sight, you do it from the highest point at any point on there to a target hex. So he may be able to fire, which to me is really weird because in a lot of games he would not be able to fire. So I could line of sight from here to here, and that lets me see him so I can fire at him. So we're going to do that. Yeah, it'd be nice to pick on that guy. So let's do that before we... I only got 2 strength points here because the other battery, even though you can't really see it because these markers are weird, are covering up his strength. So we got 2 strength points. So let's do that. Let's look at combat. We got 2 to 3 strength points. We have no modifier for up to 5 hexes. What are those? Those are rifled cannons. So they have normal canister. We're going to be able to fire canister. Yeah, because it's 3 hexes. So normal canister gives us another shift 1 to the right, so 4 to 5. It's not in the rear. Nobody's disorganized. So it's the 4 to 5 column firing canisters, so that'll matter if we run out of ammo. So 4 to 5. A 10. That's pretty juicy, although canister depletion. Because the blue is canister, the orange is anything, shot and shell or canister. But we do inflict a loss, but we also have, well, that would probably help if I rotated that one right. At least it would look like it's covering him up. So let's do clone. And let's do ammo shortage type. It's just going to be canister. So he's low on can. Now he only has shot and shell. So this battery, when it started out, it lost a part of the battery, a section. Another section's completely out of ammo, and another one's out of canister. So I'd say they've had a rough day. But over here, we know they lost one, so we're going to do a lost 1. That's going to put them at a 4, and a morale check, which is really if I remember right, is the big part of this game is the morale check, because you really want to cause problems and make people have to run away and break up their attack. So he's a C. No leader, not shaken or disorganized, not wrecked, no shot in the rear, they're not small, there's no cowardly legs, so it's going to be a straight up roll on C, so unless they roll high. And they did roll high, which is an 11, so they're disorganized, back 4, lose 1. So first we disorganize them. So lower morale 2. Back 4, lose 1, right? So C11 is back 4, lose 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Put him there. Also face him this way. And he loses 1. So he's not wrecked, but now he is disorganized. I don't think this will matter, but I don't want to guess, so we'll leave it there just so we know. So Davis now is starting to get beat up. Pretty tough attack for them, for those 2 small brigades to be able to rough this. I mean, they got some nice stuff, but we're running out. So we got the 55th North Carolina, basically, who's going to be able to come up next turn and try to put some smack down and see what they do. But anyway, so he fired. Oops. Mark is fired. All right, let's go to the movement. And let's start now. I don't think this guy can fire at anybody. He does have 6 guns. These guys are all below this ridge line. So he's not going to be able to fire at them. And if you're firing at more than 10 hexes, this game you're making a lot of noise. I don't think they could anyway because the woods are +3 to the height. So they're probably blocked, but what I remember from this game is you don't want to waste your time lobbing shells at long range because you're only going to deplete. And we don't have any ammo trains on yet for the north. So if they deplete, they can't do anything. So they're just going to wait. Let's get Doubleday moved up here. I think they're 12, right? Leaders are 12. So let's get... we'll just go here with Doubleday. He's got to have his HQ with him or he can't do orders. Okay, so we got Wayne right here, so we can start using our artillery. You know what? I don't want to do that there. He was right here. I'm going to go 1, 2. I'm going to move Wadsworth a little bit. Let's move Wadsworth here. I want to move Doubleday and his HQ right there because I want to be able to put these artillery in this area. I did move him a little bit earlier. You can't move and then continue moving. I'll leave him there. I'll move him later. So these guys, we want to get up on the ridge here. Actually, it's not a great place anyway. I think we'll put guns here, here, and here. We can stack up guns, which is probably good not to spread them all out. All right, so limbered guns can move 10, and it costs 3 to change formation. And why do I keep putting that down? So let's do that, and let's... I'm just trying to figure out where I want to put these batteries. So you got to walk the columns up before you can deploy. So that can't be good. Limbered thing in the woods is it's only a +1. Oh, and that doesn't +1 unless you go through one of these hex sites. So yeah, this game is pretty liberal with the terrain and stuff, which is fine. It's not a complaint. I'm just used to a lot more stuff. All right, so we're going to go 1. Does the slope change it? Oh, that's not a slope. It'd be here. So 3, 4. And then this would be here, and then it would have to go 5, basically on top of him, and then we can flip him over for 8. And what we want to do is we want to get Wayne right here, because if he's on top of or next to a battery firing, then he can coordinate those batteries. So I want to put another one here with him and then put one here on this road. Is that a good idea? I think you can move through deployed batteries. You just can't end on them. Well, I'll look that up because I got nobody coming close anyway. So, all right. So this one here, we're going to follow the road here for 1, and I'm not going to change my facing, but technically they would change their facing. 1, 2. Am I doing that right? Limbered. Where's the road one? Oh, it'd be half. So that would be 1. And I could go 2. I'm going to have tons of movement points, so the tail would go up in there, and we would deploy him here. So flip him over. And then this guy is going to do the same thing. Piker road, trailer road, doesn't matter. So it's 1, 2, 2.5. We'll be facing this way. Tail would be right here. We'll suck the tail up in there, out of column, and flip him over. All right, so we got a nice little battery there. So if Confederates, let's see. I should know that there's artillery under him now. But actually what I'm going to do is, no, I'm not going to do that because I already moved and stopped. And once you start moving up, hey, calm down. That's the dog. Wife and daughter just got home. Son walked by earlier. He was quiet. The dog didn't freak out on him. Okay, so because what I'll do next time is I'll move him down here, and he's touching everybody still, and he can direct fire. Well, it seems a little weird. You think he'd be up in this high range? I don't know. Okay, let's zoom out. And Rowley with Biddle is, oh, you know what? I got to look up his original orders because he doesn't have his new orders yet. I was thinking his new orders. So let me look him up real quick. So Rowley, when did he come in? Came in at 10:15, and he was under orders 4, which these aren't really secret. So he's got to go to the Fairfield Road, which is right here, then east to McPherson's Ridge, and finally north to join the rest of the corps. All right, so he's only got to just basically go here, and he's joined the rest of that corps. So he's going to be golden, and he'll basically go into a defensive order after that until he gets his new orders, if he's got any. Okay, so let's do this. Chart. Column, we get 8. So 1, because he goes around this corner. 2, 3, 4, 5 and a half. And he can change, or no, so that would be 5.5, and his tail would be here, and that would be 6 for this part to go up and this one to go here. So he can't, so he started to pull his column up, but that's all he can do. And they're stopping here because they've met the Iron Brigade, so they've obligated themselves on the order. So let's see. So this guy will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, you can't use the 8, so you can only use the 8 movement if you end in column. So I can't use the other 2 movement points, which I think I did in the past a little bit wrong, to come out of column. So they have to stay there. These guys should just be in order now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So these guys are all in column, marching up here. He'll stay in the rear, even though he probably has a little extra movement point. Okay. So that's the one thing I didn't do is look up these guys' original order. So I'm just going to double check these without pausing. Stone. Where are you, Stone? Yeah, that's all Stone. Is it Stone or the rock? Yeah, Stone. So that's 2nd Brigade, 3rd Division, so 2-3. Okay, why am I... Okay. I will have to... I'm pretty sure Stone was supposed to be on there, but now I'm starting to wonder. Maybe I put him on there wrong. So I'm going to move him up, and then I'll... he's going the same way, so I'll move him up, and then I'll double check and make sure that he's not on there wrong. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's grab those guys and worked out pretty good. There is no other reinforcements on the 11 a.m. turn. I just got to figure out why I got Stone on there because I'm not seeing him on my. So I'll just have to do it when I'm not sitting here on the camera looking frantically for why that guy's there. Let's move Howard. I know he's up here with a 12 moving point heading up to get ready. So let's go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then these dudes all down here basically going up the road, and then we'll be done with the turns. I got a few things to look up quick. I'll make a little note here. Stone turning causes opening volley. I want to double check that just because it's been a while. I used to know that, but I can't remember now. And I'm going to check orders again to make sure everything should be good for the Union, but I want to make sure of that. Okay, let's move these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, they were already on an 8. I didn't realize that. Okay. And then let's go grab all of this. There's another benefit of vassals. You can move counters pretty fast. And let's continue with these guys that didn't make it on last time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so they should have been. They're just coming down the road. So let's see. So it's every 3, every 4, right? I looked that up. That's an optional rule, which I like. Your column should be really short. I think for infantry it's every 4 string points or 3. Column infantry every 3 string points. Okay, so we need one of those for this guy. So he's got 4 strength points. So even though there's only 1 extra one, he goes back here. Okay, so there's nobody else left that's got to come on there. Let me zoom way out. I don't have anybody coming up here yet. It's been a while since I looked at the map. So that should be it. Let me go back up north here, make sure we didn't miss anybody in the main battle area. I think we're good. I think everything's solid. So let's go look at the chart. So we did movement and combat. That's all the activity phase. Rally phase. So we take off all the moves. Remove markers. So we remove fired. And USA rally. And we didn't have any counter battery. Loss recovery. That's on midnight only. And so this will bring us to the end of the 11 a.m. turn. So we'll be starting the... Oh, let's remove cowardly legs. Those all come off. All right, so the next turn I'll be working on will be the Confederate counterattack here to see if this starts to peter out now because they're just taking too many casualties. But they got to keep pushing until we know that they can't do it for sure. They're just starting to get there. That's it. So we'll wrap it up. Thanks for joining. I'm going to do some editing on this and fix it up, and I'll check on those other rules. That wasn't too bad. I think we moved along pretty good for just kind of getting familiar with this again. We got all this stuff here that can't do anything right now. This is crazy. So we'll continue next time right here with the 11:15 turn. Thanks for watching.